he loses his shit.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so talked about our anthology films, everything like that. I got a couple discussion topics that I've seen on the internet that over the years people or Star Wars fans discuss, and I'm just gonna hit on a couple here. We talked about one earlier and stuff like that. First one I'm gonna go into is who shot first.
It's Han.
It's Han, and I also go with who fucking cares.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where I go with, if nothing else, Han shooting first is better for his character arc.
Yeah, that's the whole entire point behind it.
What about if they both shot at the same time?
It's one of those things where...
Then you've got a dead character that you don't care about, and it's still the same result as if Han shot first.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he doesn't, like you said, it's better for his character arc because it shows the fact that, like, Han knows the situation he's in. He knows one of them is not walking away from that table. So, there. It's like, there's no hesitation. I'm not going to think about it. You're dead.
Yeah.
Like, it's really that simple.
Well, that was pretty quick. Pretty.
It's just beyond
we've talked about it how many times, but I just throw it
I
out
think
there.
what they should do is go the ET route and just give them both walkie-talkies. From every time they release it from now on, just the ET route. Take out the guns, walkie-talkies. I know Spielberg's behind me on this one.
Yeah, there you go. Well, him and Lucas are friends, so pass it on to George.
Oh, Lucas is such a hypocrite with stuff like that.
Next topic, Ewoks. Zach, how do you feel about Ewoks?
Fuck Ewoks, man.
Why is that? Lovable teddy bears.
Lovable teddy bears that have no business. I know stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Why is that?
But when do you ever see them hit anything?
No, that's another topic we're talking about.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I'm stepping on your topic.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
But that being said, cute, lovable little teddy bears with spears should not be taking on the Empire. It makes no sense, and it's pandering. It is the lead-in for Jar Jar Binks. If that's what Jar Jar Binks was intended to be, this was that first hit of pandering.
Yeah.
And then Lucas really got it in and went, oh, I love pandering now.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's this thing where like George Lucas stands by that said he always said Star Wars was meant to be for kids.
Yeah.
Which, like...
That's why all the Trade Federation stuff, I know that my nephew cannot get enough.
See, and then that's brings the question. Like, he has these moments like the Ewoks and Jar Jar where it's like, all right, well, these are clearly meant for the kids, but at the same time, it's like, who the fuck is... What kid's gonna give a shit about the politics behind Star Wars? Who's the fucking trade embargo?
The galaxy.
And also, you leave Empire on such a down note.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Yeah, that was always my argument against that. It's like,
for the kids.
That's like, there's very little about the Star Wars franchise, like, besides, like, Jar Jar and the Ewoks that's really kid-friendly.
Yeah.
It's like, there are people dying, a whole planet gets destroyed in the blink of an eye.
It's a gritty space western. I say gritty for the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, we have yet to, long before the Batman Begins type of gritty reboots, but... You know, it's a western. It's a space western, and it's not for children. And I'm not saying that as if it's too bloody, it's too terrible.
Yeah, like
it is not made for children. I love that children enjoy it, and I don't know.
That's like, well, they did that Star Wars Celebration a couple weeks ago, and George Lucas came out and said that it was for Star Wars was intended to be made for children, and.
I think
that's
it's
toy royalties talking. I know he doesn't get them anymore.
No.
But how many? What, $1.5 billion later?
Yeah.
It's
too much. Stormtroopers aim. Was another topic that I had.
That's every movie too.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. No. It's like that's the easy answer for why the Stormtroopers aim is so bad. Because if they were good, the movie would be 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And especially, you know, they have to be. I think it's especially egregious in this too because you have a real ensemble cast that where almost no one is disposable, and if they are disposable, you need that moment to hit hard, and it can't be a nameless, faceless stormtrooper that takes out a main character.
Yeah.
So they have to miss everything.
Unless with the new one, it would be Phasma, because they said something about Phasma has a bigger role in this next movie and whatever. And
I'm not buying anything about Phasma until I actually see her do something.
well, that's what I'm saying. They might have that.
Yeah.
But
well, she's already got a name. She's not a nameless, faceless stormtrooper. Then she is now a character,
a different outfit too, rather than it's all chrome rather than white. No, they did something on IGN today that I thought was pretty cool. They had a guy go to a shooting range, and the gun that the stormtroopers have is modeled after some semi-automatic machine gun or whatever. And they had him fire at a target, and he fired just regularly with no helmet or anything on, hit a couple times or whatever, put a helmet on, a stormtrooper helmet on, because they said that might be another reason, because the eye holes or whatever, fired at it, and they put, both whatever the shooting, like the body papers or whatever.
Yeah, silhouettes.
And silhouettes. And he actually had better aim with the helmet on than he did with no helmet. So, who knows?
It's a plot point thing.
Yeah.
It's like the bad guys can't be good shooting because if not, they killed the good guys.
Exactly.
And that's really what that boils down to.
And
which I get why people are pissed about that. It's like you have these like trained soldiers and they can't hit anything. It's like, well, yeah, it's a fucking movie. It's like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
a cop-out answer, but it's the right answer.
Yeah.
Where you say, because if they were all dead eyes, there's no fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's just, the Empire wins, you got to watch 5 minutes of a space battle. You hit it right on.
Yeah,
the
that's the only thing. Like, you can argue with it all you want, you can be pissed about it, but like that's what it boils down to.
And there's too much going on in all of these movies to introduce disposable characters. You've got too many integral parts that you have to give some attention to. It'd be 5 hours long if everyone you introduced was getting mowed down by stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Or every other person
Yeah.
that you introduced.
Last discussion point I have is, I mean, everybody talks about this too. Now, I'm going to throw it out there with how the original saga works, and then I'm going to throw the extra movie into it. Which order do you watch Star Wars? And for me, it's 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7. That's how I would watch it. Then, if you throw Rogue One into it, I would actually watch Rogue One first. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7.
Yeah, that makes sense. I buy it. I have watched like that, and it's good. For me, I don't know what it is about me.
Start 1.
Yeah,
Get
I
on with
just start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The way that it's panning out now, that's the more sensible option, I think, because with you got Rogue One thrown in there and you got 7 in there, it's just easier just to watch it the whole way through. But I don't know, there's just something about watching 4, 5, 6 and then
No, it's one of those things where, like, clearly it makes more sense in chronological order to watch it the way I watch it, which is just start from 1 and go to 7.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, in like I fucking love Tarantino. Almost all of Tarantino's movies don't fall into a chronological order.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's good for effect. And I think the Star Wars saga is a good example of how that's good for effect. Like, it very clearly, it makes sense to watch the original trilogy, or I guess you could throw Rogue One in there, watch Rogue One, the original trilogy, and then go back and watch 1, 2, and 3. Because, like, there are some stories that don't need that linear passage of story being told, and Star Wars clearly is one of those stories because that's how it's been told.
Yeah.
And I think that for us now, it's nostalgia too.
Yeah,
it's how
absolutely.
How we came to them. No, none of us were there waiting in line for the original trilogy.
No.
But that's how we all came to them. So there's that very powerful nostalgia to watch 4, 5, 6. And I agree with you completely that because Rogue One's this standalone has a beginning, middle, end film, I would go Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 7. Not watch 2 at all.
Alright, fair enough. I saw where you were going with that one.
Too.
I saw where you were going with that one. No, because like even if we were just to watch them in the order they came out, like in theaters, so it'd be 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7,
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Which I think are all fine orders.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's a story that we all know by now, and it's not something that needs to be told in a chronological order.
I think a better question then is, you're bringing someone off a desert island who's been stranded for 25 years, doesn't know fuck all about Star Wars. You bring him to your house, get him fed, clothed, get them a good night's sleep in a bed, and you go, all right, I'm going to change your life. How do you show it to them?
Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7.
Ooh. Oh, that's interesting.
Because you go.
What was that? Rogue One.
Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, I think.
That's very interesting.
Because you leave it on the cliffhanger of Vader being Luke's father. Then you go back and you realize the pretty much the anthology story of Anakin Skywalker and how he became.
And it's not been spoiled either
No.
by the.
No.
Yeah? Oh, that's good.
So yeah.
Yeah, because isn't there like a name for that order?
I forget. Yeah, there's something.
We've talked about this before. I think for me, because you're right, that is the right way to ask this question: in what order you watch it? Like, if you're showing someone new,
Yeah.
what's the best way to do it? I think I would go with the way they came out in Vader's. Like I said, it's one of those stories I don't think needs to be told in chronological order, and I feel like, especially with like Rogue One, I feel like it would leave them with questions that would eventually get answered in Rogue One. I think Rogue One would be a good one to end off on.
Yeah.
So I would go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, and then just fucking drill home. It's like, this was the moment that led up to everything else you just watched before this with Rogue One.
Yeah. I can see that. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the trailer breakdown of the new Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, which they won't be, like in advertising or whatever, it's not Episode 8, it's just The Last Jedi until the crawl.
Which
they did with The Force Awakens.
Yeah, this is going to be The Force Awakens.
But we're going to do the trailer talk, and then we're going to do some I got some discussion points we're going to talk about when it comes to it. But let's do the trailer breakdown first. We're just going to go scene by scene.
Fucking pretty.
You guys think this is a long time ago?
It's probably in a galaxy far, far away.
So, right there, I thought that was awesome that they did the shot where it looks like it was at the stars.
Yeah.
And then it goes right into the rock, where with her hand.
It was an interesting and I think like well designed shot. It's because when you're that first shot of Star Wars, you're used to like the stars and
the crawl going away and the
Yeah.
stars and the camera.
Playing with expectations.
Yeah.
So we see Rey. She's in pretty much the same stuff she wore when she got dropped over.
Because apparently this takes place like the beginning of Episode 8 is literally the ending of Episode 7.
Yeah, and that's the first thing Star Wars hasn't done in a long time.
Yeah.
It's usually a couple months ahead. But I think right there, it's either she's coming out of that cave that's behind her, or she had another Force vision.
I think this is just a guess. Well, no, that's not a guess. So that's definitely Skelly Michael, where they shot the last scene of the last one, and so she's got to be. I think it's immediate, as you were saying. It's not just they're leading into right in the time after we left them. It's the minute we left them. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something or Luke's like, hey, I gotta show you this.
I'll show you.
If you're the real deal, or something like that. We're gonna put you through this.
That's always a lovely sight. I love seeing that. Fucking John Williams just doing John Williams things.
Breathe. Great shot of the ocean and then the island.
Who's the one saying breathe?
Luke.
That's Luke.
It's Luke.
That guy just couldn't hear well enough.
Just breathe.
Seriously, the fucking beautiful shots.
I would say that's a
gorgeous.
fantastic
It's
shot right there.
Looks gorgeous.
But is Rey? What's going on here? Is she just overlooking? What have I done? What am I doing? Or is she contemplating anything? Or just?
I feel like there's not enough to go off with this image.
No,
to
I
really
don't think you can really speculate other than the fact that it's not. This is later on.
Yeah, it looks like it's later in the day.
Not just later in the day. She's
But
dressed differently.
Yeah.
She's carrying
yeah,
herself
she
a
is.
little
She's his
differently.
best, or something.
Yeah, there's not really much you could say about this image. It's besides it being beautiful.
Great shot.
Yeah.
And Ryan Johnson knows how to do that. That's a great shot. And I was telling you about
Looper. Yeah.
Ryan Johnson has seen in Looper with Bruce Willis. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yes.
And at the very end where the soil or ground's coming up, he kind of added his little touch on there, which I don't know what's going on there, but Rey might.
I think this is actually going back to the initial scene where she's crouched down.
Okay.
I mean, she's dressed again with the armlets and or elbow warmers or whatever the hell they
You
are.
can see her foot too. Like I don't know if she's sitting cross-legged
I
too.
just noticed that too.
So, like,
alright, so it's not the
could
kind
be
of
something.
the crouched position.
Yeah, unless
Did it
something
go
happens
open on?
and then she could be after that.
Yeah, it's,
But that's
it's
awesome.
such a gorgeous shot.
What do you say? Light.
Obviously Leia. And then if you hear, I don't know if I can play it back again, but when you see Leia for the first time, you can hear in the background she goes, "Help me, Obi." Just listen.
Light.
Light. And then Kylo Ren's mask is done. I don't know if he had a temper tantrum or whatever, but
I'm sure he did.
something.
That is his.
People were saying that was Vader's mask. No, that's
No.
No,
clearly
it's way too clean.
Kylo Ren with the eyepiece and then the silver around it.
Darkness.
But it looked like it was on fire or something. 'Cause it was smoke.